Nova Scotia's EMO asked to use the hall as a registration centre for residents of Portapique who had fled their homes.
For residents of Portapique who had fled their homes.
An RCMP officer was posted here in a cruiser. By this time, police were on the hunt for the shooter, who they knew was impersonating a police officer. At 10:30 a.m., 2 RCMP officers fired multiple shots outside the hall. Sources have told CTV News the officers thought they were firing at the suspect when it was in fact a fellow Mountie.
This program is brought to you in part by...
Why don't you get yourself some turned-down collars, Poirot? They're much more the thing, you know.
The thing, Hastings? Do you think Poirot concerns himself with mere thingness?
No, I see that.
The turned-down collar is the first symptom of decay of the grey cells.
You know, I just think if people keep pushing, I can't, first of all, thank enough all of the hard work. There's 3 fellow YouTubers who are working very, very hard with me on this one. Rage in the Cage, Steve LTT, and Just My Stupid Opinion. Just plugging them, sorry. But they are fantastic guys, really been busting their humps here. And, you know, stepping up to the plate, because there's a certain amount of risk saying certain things. And also, likewise, all of the people who are volunteering information and time, which, like I said, over on the Discord or sending me anonymously information, it is fantastic.
Howdy. Okay, so Paul Belango's latest article, thought we could read it together. I have under fairly good authority there'll be something else coming out here from him recently. Hope everybody's having a good day. Dave, G, Karen, Ozzy, great to see you. Craig, Francis, Mike, Lynn. I hope everybody's having a super day. Oh yes, I have great hair. I could have styled that, couldn't I? But of course I'm so good for that. Now, this just came out fairly recently. Not sure if you guys had to read through it yet. I'll leave the link right hey, Ron. How's it going? Dawn. What's happening? Tried to send videos over Discord, but never heard whether you received. Sorry. I do get a lot of stuff, and it's not that I don't appreciate it. Very sorry. If I didn't give you any acknowledgement, I'm sorry. I did see the video, I believe, of the funeral procession and the overpass, which I probably should talk to you about at some point because I don't quite understand it exactly, but call me simple. Little Miss So in here and Linda. Yeah, okay, you've read the article. Well, I'm don't know. We'll have a read through here because there may or may not be some details we've come across here, and maybe Paul's talking about. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. Beth, Paul, I believe is kind of interested in a couple things that have come up pretty recently with us. Anyway, February 12th was a strange day for the man who 2 months later would murder 22 people. February 12th, right? We talked about February 12th a few times now. Now take it. That article. The snowy Wednesday morning, he had a bizarre run-in with Halifax police, one he gleefully bragged to. That's the key part. He went to them. Frank Magazine about that evening, he was ticketed by an RCMP cop for driving 1 to 15 over the speed limit on a rural gravel road in Portapique. But the cop won't talk about it. This is interesting, but I don't know if I should drop that in here now. There was a phone call placed to this officer from our end, and he had some very interesting things to say. Not much of anything, really, which... Gray Alf, what's going on? Miss you over on the Discord, buddy, but I think you and I've got contact information, so that's good. Christina. Okay, so February 12th, last February 12th began as a poor weather day in Nova Scotia. The province was pretty well shut down because of an overnight snowstorm. Speeding on gravel roads that are dead ends. Schools and public buildings were closed in Halifax and in Truro. The temperature was hovering around the freezing mark. More snow was forecast. It was not that kind of day to be wandering around, one might think. That day, a man in Halifax, the Halifax Examiner refers to as GW, which, sorry, I won't go with that one because I just won't. It's Gabriel Wortman, a denturist with operations in Dartmouth and across the Angus L. MacDonald Bridge in Halifax, was still 66 days away from the night, April 18th, when he began a rampage that left 22 Nova Scotians dead. A Nova Scotian citizen, and eventually him too, under very suspicious circumstances. Now, 4 months later, after the massacre, looking back at the seemingly mundane things that took place on February 12th between Gabriel Wortman and the police helps to fuel the growing conjecture about his speculated relationship with them. I was, quote, I was off that day when Gabriel Wortman called, said Frank magazine editor Andrew Douglas. I had the name wrong. That's not good. I call him Andrew Carrington for some reason. Andrew Douglas in an interview. Quote, Cliff, an employee, took the call. Cliff said, yeah, we're interested, and took down the information, and he didn't mention anything to me for 24 hours. Frank, the notorious Halifax satirical magazine, is the kind of publication in the pages of which most respectable people hope never to be found. To be franked is not to be considered to be a good thing by most, yet Gabriel Wortman insisted upon it, right? He contacted them. Because I'm trying to always say that. There's a lot of told you so's. I hate people who told you so's, but what am I going to do? The next day, February 13th, Gabriel Wortman called Frank again, this time getting Douglas on the phone. He wanted to know what happened with his story, what was happening with his story. Douglas checked with Cliff and was brought up to speed. Gabriel Wortman, back on the line, promised photographs and the names of the Halifax policemen involved in the incident that Gabriel wanted the world to know about. So, let's see if he's going to get into the policeman. Mm-hmm. He said a gray, unmarked police vehicle was illegally parked in the fenced lot beside his denture clinic on Portland Street when two Halifax police officers, Detective Constable Dwayne Stanley and Constable Tracy Longbury, showed up clutching coffees from the Tim Hortons down the street. Don't park in the lot at Tim Hortons. Gabriel Wortman confronted them about their illegally parked vehicle. He took down their names. He had strung a heavy chain across the driveway, blocking the police cars from leaving, police officers from leaving. He even asked them for $20, which they refused to give him. He said the police called their office for bolt cutters, and before long, a small crowd had gathered, and more police officers, including Staff Sergeant Tanya Chambers Spriggs, all things eventually resolved peacefully, and Gabriel allowed the police to take their car. Blue Apple, how's it going? How's it going there, Blue? Numerous photos of the incident and all details, including the name of every Halifax officer at the scene, were sent to Frank magazine by email. Sent to. Who was he contacting? It wasn't Gabriel Wortman's email, portapic@live.ca. However, that's interesting. That's got a hyperlink. Oh, well. Should we send them a mail? Who knows? However, but one belonging to his longtime companion. Oh. Quote, I didn't realize until the shootings that it might have been the girlfriend taking the pictures, or that she was the one sending them to us. Oh, that's just what I was going to say. It was about how, who is taking the photos? Who's taking the photos? Oh, yeah. Immediately popped into my mind when I saw that article long ago. We don't know who did what because the girlfriend has not said a word to anyone outside of her immediate family and maybe police since April 19th. Maybe. That's a good word. Maybe. We just don't know anything about her, other than she might have been the victim of domestic abuse. Vomit, a story well propagated by both police and activists against domestic violence. Funny that. What news? Who does that benefit, do you think? Who does it benefit? Does it benefit the RCMP? Oh, absolutely. Does it benefit the federal government? Oh, absolutely. Sure, I think indirectly it benefits these other groups, these fringe groups. I'm sorry, that's what that non-state group is. It's fringe, and they get a lot of money. We were digging up. Last night was good. Thank you to all the people who participated last night in the Zoom meeting. Sorry to interrupt. Thank you for participating in the Zoom meeting. It's great to hear everybody else's opinion. We had a really great session. I think it went on for 6 hours. There was a lot of research done. Melding of the minds. So hopefully we will do that as soon. Again, if you're not on the Discord, please join us. It's pretty good. This morning it seemed to get a little steamy, but hopefully we're all back on track and everybody's feeling okay about things. That would be great, because we all have the same goal. When he called Douglas that day, Gabriel Workman told him about something else that had happened to him, the cherry on the cake, as it were, proving the police were hounding him. Around the time confrontation with Halifax police, the weather had cleared up to a degree. Gabriel Workman showed it was mostly sunny. Photos showed it was mostly sunny, but the meteorologist said there was still a chance of more snow. Rural roads were snow covered with ice patches. Great speeding conditions for non-radar roads that are dead ends. Just saying. It was a bit windy, gusts up to 50 kilometers, particularly around Truro. In spite of the weather, that Wednesday afternoon, Gabriel Workman hopped into one of his 3, could be 4, not sure. There could be a 4th, but I'm not exactly sure. I think there might be 4. Three white former police vehicles, and took 1 hour drive to his cottage on Portapique Beach Road, about 20 minutes past Truro. There he was stopped by an RCMP officer who gave him a speeding ticket. On the surface, at least, it certainly appears as though Gabriel Workman is truly unlucky, or that the police had it in for him, or that something else is afoot. Yet the question still remains, what truly innocent person advertises their run-ins with the police? You can't see me. My eyes are doing funny things right now. Who wants their name publicized? More funny eyes. And attached to a speeding ticket for all the world and insurance companies to see. Gabriel Workman did, but why? Was there method to his madness? Gabriel Workman told Frank Magazine and Andrew Douglas his story on February 12th and 13th. The big question is, why Frank? The magazine is deservedly infamous for skewing the powerful and dishing out the hidden secrets on just about anyone. In a perverse way, being franked is a notorious badge of honor in the victim, and the victim is at least recognized as being someone worth writing about. But if Gabriel Wortman was hoping to get instant gratification from Frank, that didn't happen. The magazine didn't hit the web until February 17th, and in a rather long story by Frank standards, which was 2 pages, all kinds of nice photos taken by somebody, with 70 accompanying photos. Oh, sorry, I haven't read this yet, so pardon me. Sent through Gabriel Wortman's girlfriend's phone, the iPhone. Samsung in the lockup. iPhone. She had an iPhone. Smashed, apparently. And burned up, apparently. Right. The paper version of the magazine still didn't come out until Wednesday, March 4th. It all looks merely quirky and innocuous until one factors in the other side of Gabriel Wortman's story, suspicions that he had a special relationship. Funny eyes. Specifically, the RCMP with police. The RCMP. And perhaps even Halifax police. Remember, he did have Halifax police uniform, right? Not just talking about... This is getting deeper, way deeper. We didn't know if Gabriel Wortman was a confidential informant, police agent, or whether he or not he had some other kind of special status. How about police officer? Hello, Mark. How's it going? Policing sources have said they believe he had some kind of a relationship, while the RCMP said it could find no evidence. See, this is the word salad I talk about. It could find no evidence of a special relationship. If you have a pre-existing relationship, of course you're not going to find any evidence of it. You already know the evidence of it. They just bullshit through their teeth while appearing to tell the truth. They didn't say there was no relationship. Very good. Very good. There's no denial. Just says that you couldn't find anything. They fuck you mentally with the psychological warfare, word salad garbage, like they have been the whole time, like everybody has been the whole time. Halifax police have been all but mute about Gabriel Wortman, in spite of the fact that, as Halifax Examiner reported months ago, Chief Dan Kinsella curiously ordered his force not to kill but capture him on the 19th. This was a great article, by the way. The informant. Let's see, I'll just open that up and I'll grab the link and we'll put it in there. This was a really good article. Hello, Bush, baby. Okay. I think that's sent. Yes, hopefully. This was a very good article. There's a couple of really good articles, and this one kind of flew under the radar. But Chief Kinsella, not too pleased, didn't want people wearing red, and there's the animosity was showing between the RCMP and his inability to answer any kind of questions that were posed to him from the secret source information within the Halifax Regional Police. Very interesting. If Gabriel Wortman was working with the police, in all likelihood, it would have been an undercover capacity targeting outlaw bikers, in particular Hells Angels and their support in puppet clubs such as the Red Devils. Oh, how long have we been saying that over here? How long? Seriously. A long time. This is not news, but I'm glad it's making the news. If so, we don't know how and when he was recruited, but it is worth noting at RCMP of 2018, virtually advertising for operatives its legitimate business community, like people like Gabriel Bortman, because it was having troubles turning bikers. They pretty much had run dry. Would it have something to do with New Brunswick, do you think? Oh, I think so. Who was the individual I uncovered the other day? Mike Kerr. I know this fellow. Oh, balls on you. This is fucking garbage. Mike Kerr, do you guys know who Mike Kerr is? No, I don't think you're going to find any porn in my tabs. Mike Kerr, I'm not that excited. Mike Kerr. What's that? Nova Scotia. Or sorry, New Brunswick. I just put RCMP. How's that? RCMP. Oh, there he is there. You see where he works out of? Oh, remember the video I made the other day where I was humming and hawing and kind of sitting on some things, not sure where I should talk about. Well, I brought up this page. Mike Kerr. So, where is he from? New Brunswick. You put in articles to do with Mike Kerr. Oh, Nova Scotia Police, Halifax Police. Oh, yes, police seized firearms. Where's this from again? Probably. Where do you think? Where do you think this one's from? Oh, let's see. Oh, Cole Harbor. Are you getting the idea? Mike Kerr. He's kind of far from home. Anyway, moving along. Maybe that'll come out. Striker. He has a contact man, too. If you're special. He's not a corporal either. I like that. They refer to him sometimes as corporal and then sometimes as sergeant. These rotating ranks. It's kind of word salad, too. In July 2018, Global News reporter Natasha Pace reported RCMP Sergeant Mike Sims was asking for help from the police. Interesting. Okay, I'm not aware of this article. Of course, it's not as though I'm aware of everything, because I'm absolutely not. Let's see, we better archive that. Bing. We'll leave that one alone for now. For help from the public, quote, it's tough for us to infiltrate. It is tough for us to get intelligence within these groups, but we know there are people out there that can do that and do that regularly. And we certainly need them to call us and work with us. Sorry? I don't know. Am I supposed to answer things midway? There are a couple of Zooms. Last night was not recorded, and the people in the Zoom did not want... that just was found out after the fact, but a couple of people in the Zoom asked that it did not... They prefer it wasn't aired. But there was a ton of research that came out of it. It was really good. So I just encourage anybody, again, they are kind of last minute. I do apologize. Oh, yeah, Zoom isn't secure. None of this is secure. Little Miss O, come on. None of this is secure. Operation Project Wide Awake, anybody? Let's have some of that. 2.0, RCMP. How you doing, RCMP? You having a good day? But we're also talking about July 2018. Mr. Wortman's stuff is a lot older than that. The financial opportunities for such an arrangement were potentially spectacular. Biker informants in the passage of Danny Kane and Sylvain Boulanger were promised anywhere between $2 to $3 million by RCMP for successful prosecution of outlaw biker targets. This is more of a sting. Mr. Big Sting. Gabriel Wortman brought much to the table, although he had a long, seemingly hidden history of smuggling cigarettes and guns. You have to be able to sort through some of this stuff because a lot of it's disinformation. I'm not saying that that is, but I'm just saying, watch. Smuggling cigarettes across the border from Maine to New Brunswick, where he was that day, on the 18th. He was having a meeting with Mike Kerr. What do you think? He appeared to be a legitimate, upstanding citizen. He had ready access to the very things bikers want and need in their illegal manufacturing of and trafficking operations. Bikers need hydraulic presses and molds to make pills and pack drugs. Gabriel Wortman could get them under the radar. You can go down to Princess Auto and pick them up too. I mean, it's not a big deal. They needed drugs to cut their drugs. Gabriel Wortman had access to drugs. I don't want to differ with Paul, but according to Denture Dawn, that's not necessarily so. Denturists don't have access to prescription drugs. Benzocaine is a good cutting agent. I don't know how I know that, but somehow, anyway, they liked nitrous oxide for their personal use. No problem for Gabriel Wortman. For Gabriel Wortman's point of view, that's absolutely true, by the way. Gabriel Wortman's point of view, there was all the money for what looked to be easy work. And he was a money pig. He worshipped money. Much of his business, even as a denturist, was in cash. Customers like Dartmouth real estate broker Ed Powers, who had numerous dealings with him. His net worth, multiple millions, far more. Yes, far more than the 1.2 million. Far more. Value of his estate, whatever the downturn of the economy and COVID-19 lockdown might bring, he could easily withstand it. He had cash to burn, literally and figuratively. Absolutely. This business of the COVID, come on. You guys know what the COVID is. And they used it. They manipulate you. They manipulate us. Come on, I'm not trying to be like a superhero in this story. Absolutely not. But this is what they're doing. Of course, they throw out any excuse and they contradict each other all the time. Well, he's got tons of money. He's got COVID-19 fears and all this other stuff, but he's entering into business deals. We have emails of those, right? Who enters into business deals if you're concerned about money? Oh, he took it all out, though. No. He was entering into business deals. Sorry about that lie. It didn't work very well. Did not work very well. Hello, Denture Dawn. There you go. How are you doing today? By the fall of 2019, things had ratcheted up inside the RCMP. Assistant Commissioner Larry Tremblay, the commander of the New Brunswick RCMP, not news, been saying it, had managed to win an internal battle and took control all anti-biker operations in the Maritimes. Sources say that both bad blood inside the force and concern about what was going on, particularly with RCMP informants. The suspicion was that the force was behaving as if one of its key informants' covers had been blown. I don't think we're talking about a source here, a key informant. No. He liked to go to New Brunswick. On February 12th, the day of Gabriel Wortman's two known and public run-ins with the police, well, he had a few more, obviously, but the RCMP was in the process of making arrests of more than Hells Angels and associates in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. Okay, we're going to get into Red Devil and the Angels, I think, over in New Brunswick. The first arrest was an unnamed biker made on February 17th, New Brunswick, the same day that Frank article was published about Gabriel Wortman's problems with the police. The arrests continued for the next 7 weeks, a highlight being a raid on the Red Devil compound in Land Alma Crescent in Halifax neighborhood of Fairview. Not much is known about the details of that raid to date, which is unusual. If Gabriel Wortman or anyone associated with him was suspected of being a rat, then under the Hells Angels code of life expectancy was automatically shortened significantly. Among other things, the police and Crown focused on were the presses they found. Were the bikers getting suspicious attempts to find out whether Gabriel Wortman had contracted those bikers were rebuffed by the lawyer acting for the Hells Angels. Interesting. They've contacted their lawyer and asked them about that. The conjecture in policing circles is that, of course, the lawyer is not going to answer things to do with their client. That's client-attorney privilege. Is that Gabriel Wortman's cover as an operative was blown and that his life was likely in danger. I'm glad this is making press. That's all. I'll just leave it at that. I'm glad it's getting out a little bit more. I might not 100% agree with everything that's being said, but it is the focus. Keep focusing on keeping the story alive. Got to keep it alive for the families so that when they do figure out that they're getting pooched by the quote-unquote inquiry, people are still around, people are still interested, people are still pushing. And then they could say, listen, we want the hand-picked inquiry for all the families. That's the one they want, right? They want to set the mandate. It's their show. If that were true, he was trying to buy back his life on March 30th, as reported by Maclean's magazine. Gabriel Wortman mysteriously picked up $475,000 in $100 bills, and we don't have thousands, unfortunately. I miss those days. The binkies. At the Brinks facility at 19 Islay Avenue in Dartmouth. The money had been routed there through CIBC Intra, which normally stocks ATM machines and provides bulk currency for other transactions. The RCMP has said that it was Gabriel Wortman's money, perhaps part of an inheritance from an old friend, which we don't have any details of, but sorry about that. We're investigating the inheritance. Because that person's dead, we better investigate. But the provenance of the money is unknown. Police sources say that if Gabriel Wortman were a police informant or agent or cop, the money could have been given to him by police, his friends, his co-workers, and technically, at the end of the day, it was in his name. The police have provided no clarity. What news, as East Coast would say? What news? Final arrest in the Hells Angels case came in New Brunswick. Hells Angels in New Brunswick were announced by the RCMP April 10th, 8 days before the rampage began. But let's return to February 12th and the second run-in with the police Gabriel Wortman advertised through Frank magazine. Now, unfortunately, I put out, for some reason, I sometimes put requests into the Discord. I don't know whether people don't see them. They generally just ignore them. Paul Palango had requested something of us. We failed to provide that, by the way. I had asked in the Discord, I'm not giving anybody shit, but I'm saying, please pay attention when I'm asking for something. I don't like to ask for help, but I did specifically say, Paul is asking for a ticket. Nobody seemed to reply to that. It seemed to just get lost in the milieu of conversation. Let's try and step it up. When people need help, that's what we're to do. Paul Palango is willing to work with us together. He's very interested in doing that because we all see that this is the way the things are going to get solved, but we have to hold up our end of the bargain. As described earlier, it was not the best of days. Public buildings were closed, and the roads were had icy spots, particularly in rural areas like Portapique Beach Road, one way in and one way out. Huh? Who radars on that road? The gravel road runs from Highway 2 down to the Bay of Fundy. It's just wide enough for 2 cars. It is winding in spots. Residents say that the world record tides rush in and out twice a day. There's plenty of mist and fog during the winter, especially during February. The road can be treacherous. All that dampness, right? Not speeding on this road. Nevertheless, Gabriel Wortman was given a speeding ticket on that day in Portapique Beach Road by RCMP member Nicholas Andrew Dorrington. Sorry, not doxing you, sir. It is public record. Who issued it at 5:59 p.m.? The time. Gabriel Wortman was charged with driving 1 to 15 over the speed limit. The fine was $237.50. So he didn't have a radar gun. He's just like, oh, you're speeding. Here you go. Here's a ticket. Have a good day. No, you need something. If he wished to plead not guilty, a court date was set for April 17th, 2020 at the Truro Courthouse in Prince Street. Accompanying documents show that Gabriel Wortman pled not guilty to the charge. Here is the information of the ticket relayed to the court. Okay, and there we have Mr. Dorrington's name. I think I posted this in the Discord a while back. And thank you to Lindsay Jones for furnishing that to me over at the Globe and Mail. On its face, the summary offense ticket looks normal, but upon closer inspection, there are a number of odd things about the ticket. The examiner provided copies of the court document that details the ticket to a number of current and former police officers, as well as members of other law enforcement community for their analysis. You see, and you guys went through and you picked up lots of little funny details in here, problems with the way the ticket was written. And that was why Paul was looking for the ticket, so he could have comparisons. But we'll try again. Catherine Mansley, a former Mountie who worked in Halifax County, said this: I used to do 250 tickets a month. Oh my. This ticket was issued 1 to 15 over the limit in a rural road at night. First off, 15 over is usually let go. Anything over 15, you're playing Russian roulette. Charging someone with 1 to 15 is typically a reduction from a higher number, but there are no officer notes. We don't know the basis of the charge. We are not told what the speed limit was and how fast he was going. Was the officer using LiDAR, laser-based light detection and radar, or conventional radar? And the location of this is kind of suspicious. No Mountie I've ever known, this is coming from a Mountie, I've ever known would be set up on a rural road in one way in, one way out, one way in, one way out. Right? I think, what was it, Campbell? I should find the quote displayed. It's important to note. One way in, one way out. How did it get out? It just told them. Why? And the location is kind of suspicious. No Mountie I've ever known would be set up on a rural road in the dark, enforcing speed. It just doesn't sound right to me. Mansley's observations were echoed by others who asked not to be named. This is because they're afraid. Why are they afraid of saying the truth? Isn't that a problem? I think it's a problem if other police officers are afraid of saying the truth about law, upholding the law, their fellow Mounties. This is just shameful. And there's lots of good ones. Got to clean it up. Got to clean it up. The general consensus was that the time of the ticket, the location, and lack of supporting information was suspicious. As one put it, quote, 6 o'clock is usually shift change. I know Paul and I spoke about that. In rural detachment, nobody would be doing radar on a dirt road 30 minutes away from the detachment at that time. It just doesn't happen. Well, I got half an hour overtime out of it. If this was a real ticket and was knocked down from a higher speed, why would one be he be pleading not guilty and fighting it? One officer said. Presumably, the issuing officer has notes of what had happened. It doesn't make sense, of course, because if he's already given you the reduction, to which you can't really speed on that road. Anybody who's driven that road, thank you to many of you who have gone down and done that research for all of us, gone taking photos and still are going and taking photos and doing things and timing things out, looking at things. Wow. One day, Steve and I are going to get down there. Soon. You can't drive on that road that fast. It's not a road that you're capable of doing that, really. I suppose you could be a total jackass, but with ice and stuff and the water, which is humid, then providing the iciness to the road, no. In the dark. Quote, if this was a real ticket and was knocked down from a higher speed, why would he be pleading not guilty and fighting it? One officer said. Presumably the issuing officer, take notes. Okay, sorry. A former Crown attorney for Nova Scotia, whom I'll describe as male. Okay, so we don't know. Fair enough. Is not only examined the ticket, but drove to Portapique Road and conducted his own examination of the site, which many of you did, and reported that you can't be driving super speedy on this road. It was Wednesday, sunset in Portapique on February 12th. It was 5:37. It was about 0 degrees. The ticket is not clear. The alleged offense occurred. The offense states at or near Portapique Beach, Bible Hill. Portapique Beach and Bible Hill are many kilometers apart. I think it's half an hour. Is that right? About driving distance. The wording makes no sense. The second point, I assume, refers to Portapique Road. That is not specified in the ticket. Does Portapique Beach refer to Portapique Beach Road or some other road in Portapique Beach area? Which are few, right? The only one that's not marked is that one through the blueberry field on the county map. The one that got freshly refinished. Shitty road to nice road nowhere. The former Crown attorney said that in the place of the tickets, it should have been signed. There are no signatures, just the name Dorrington Nicholas Andrew and what he called an informal ID number, 002577715. That number is neither a badge nor a regimental number, which in the most police forces is typically required to issuing tickets. Well, exactly. You just put down some random number, would get tossed. I don't know if there's any specifics behind the number. I don't know if we need to go into geometry and all that. I think it's just a bunch of bollocks is what it is. Quote, also in the SOT, in the administrative part, is a place for a signature of the officer who purports to have delivered the SOT to the defendant. Again, if there's no signature. Instead is inserted the number, 0257715. Maybe there is significance. I don't know. Maybe there is. Maybe. I don't think so. I think this is just more red herrings they're throwing out there. The former Crown Attorney also took issue with it. And if you don't have a signature on a ticket, this would get thrown out of court also. That's not, you have to, there's a procedure that everything has to follow. The former Crown Attorney also took issue with the court records that are attached to the copy of the ticket obtained by the examiner. He too cited the lack of disclosure. Quote, I prosecuted more than 1,000 ticket offenses over the years, he said in an interview, but before even it goes to court, I would have reviewed all the tickets before me and weeded out the ones that are problematic. This one was clearly problematic. Technicality, tossed. There's technicalities all over it, right? Later in writing, he added, quote, my thoughts on this ticket are that in an unusual time of day, an unusual location, it is poorly written and leaves open a lot of questions. Quote, I would have saved the court's time and thrown this out without even bothering to hear it. Technicalities. All of which brings us down to the officer who reportedly wrote the ticket. Nicholas Andrew Dorrington. Thank you to Steve for phoning. It's too bad he's gone away on holidays. Otherwise, he could, which is much deserved, he could fill us in a little bit with his conversation. So I don't want to misquote, but there wasn't actually a lot of things said, but he did call back, which was interesting. Trying to get any information out of the RCMP has always been an exercise in futility, but nowadays it has become almost comical. I think it's just downright depressing, sad. I don't even know a word for it. It's terrible. You have to laugh in some ways because it's just ungodly, awful. The lying, the deceit. For example, recently I sent the RCMP spokeswoman in Nova Scotia, Corporal Jennifer Clark, Derp, I should put Derp's picture up, an email requesting information about the number on the fake police car that Gabriel Wortman was driving in the Rampage. The number was 28B11. This was interesting stuff. Here's what I wrote. Quote, Jennifer, I have one question only. Is there detachment in Nova Scotia or New Brunswick? Paul's telling you some things here, right? The New Brunswick, and we've talked about a lot. New Brunswick is really, really important to this story. It uses detachment number 28 on its vehicles. If so, which ones might they be? She replied, quote, I assume you are inquiring. You have to know that this is, I retorted. So maybe he did actually have a conversation with her. I should ask him. Because everything's usually done by paper, emails, nonsense. Got to vet it through lawyers, which cost all of us tons of money, just so that they can keep continuing lying. I assume you are inquiring in relation to the gunman's vehicle. Derp, we need the photo. Derp. The car's units is used by the gunman on the mock RCMP vehicle is fictitious, 28B11. It was never displayed on any Nova Scotia RCMP vehicle. Thank you, Jennifer Clark. Never displayed on a Nova Scotia vehicle. Word salad? Are they telling you something in between there? Not displayed on Nova Scotia. I believe the question was Nova Scotia or New Brunswick. She answers not displayed on any new Nova Scotia RCMP vehicle. Just cut out a lot of the wording and you see the answer. You understand? This is word salad. They tell you. Kind of. Even though they lie in court. This is absolutely abhorrent. Again, I hope the women are going to get organized over on the Discord. This business has to be shot down right away. I don't like to use that word, sorry. It has to be absolutely blown apart, the feminist stuff. And you can find holes all over the place. Gosh, last night. Ooh. I retorted, that was not my question. Where is 28B is my question, if such a detachment exists. Derp responded, that is the only response I can provide. Derp. Really? I think you could just say, frankly, would you have a problem answering that question? Or did she already kind of answer it? Yes, there was, by the way, Mr. Moneypenny. You're right. Absolutely, there was the one car that was located there. I believe that was number. The one that's nice little photo op crap. The question who Gabriel Wortman's speeding ticket is important because the context of the times and the situation. Always say, the devil is in the details, the fine details, the little nitpicking things that they just hope that you won't see. You guys are smart enough, obviously. There is legitimate speculation that Gabriel Wortman had some kind of a with the police. He was not. He was allowed to build the replica police car with criminals' help. Again, this is... Let's be able to sort what may or may not be speculative here. But I think we could also have something much more insidious. And the RCMP said nothing about it. Numerous complaints were made about him for various things, from domestic abuse to threatening gun possession and a variety of criminal behaviors. But the RCMP did nothing about it. Why would that be? There are curious multiple coincidences, including the aforementioned anti-bike raids and arrests who could be caught using various pieces of equipment, such as hydraulic presses, that someone like Gabriel Wortman could provide. I think we've got to look really a lot deeper and much higher up the food chain here. It's really been pointing that way for a long time. But, yeah. Anyway, we've spoken about it a lot, right? I have written in the past about how former and current police officers thought the ticket looked like a tactical use of serendipitously connect with an undercover operator. Thanks, Paul. I like Paul's using the terms now. Thank you, Paul. Feeling a little bit vindicated here. He's been doing it last little bit, which is awesome. It is a lot to come out and say, listen, this person, there's a high likelihood that this person is a police officer. Tactic, though, why? Why do you do that? One, if the RCMP are failing to tell the truth and you actually get them on the defense, that they have to firmly establish that he is not an undercover agent. How do you firmly establish that? In their case, I think they'll be manufacturing evidence, but it puts them on the defensive. But also because it's probably true. Or an agent for the purpose either of passing on the message or helping to establish or helping them embellish or fortify their cover. In this case, they argue, Gabriel Wortman may have needed help showing he and the police were at loggerheads and not working together. That might explain two curious run-ins an hour drives apart on a snowy, windy afternoon in February. Might, yeah, that's possible. I don't think so, but it's possible. Casual observer might think best way to deal with this is to find Dorrington and ask him the question about what happened, but that isn't going to work. One needs to be prepared for all eventualities in matters such as these. Okay, so he's got some information here about Dorrington. So he's posted out a depot in Where is E? What is detachment E? Okay, probably he'll get into that. I'm not sure where that is, what province. RCMP Graves website where the death of Nicholas Andrew Dorrington. Ooh, yes. Okay, so see, he did say this to me he's like, I don't know if this person even exists. I don't know if they exist. Steve did have a conversation with somebody, Nick Dorrington, who is with the RCMP. So I don't know. Is that somebody bullshitting? Very possible. Frankly, at this point in time, with all the smurfing and nonsense going on over in the Discord or just in public in general, all over the place. A search of the internet found no reference to Dorrington as an active RCMP member, but the website RCMP Grave, a name search, pulled up this information from an apparently dead RCMP officer named Nicholas Andrew Dorrington. Very odd that they would have the same name. You never know. Maybe because somebody's so deep, they need that. And before you think that that's tinfoily, the RCMP are very notorious for faking murders, actually setting up murders and making them look like, British Columbia, see that. Faking murders and filming them and making people feel like somebody is dead. It's all part of their Mr. Big crap. And so, no, these people don't have limits. They will go very far into criminal behavior, criminal activity. His badge regimental number was 61881. There's very little information about him, other than he's spent a little more than 5 months at Depot. Let's see, I'll drop that link in here just so that you guys can all play around with that. Perhaps I should drop that over in the Discord too. Let's just do that. Okay. Now, sorry about that. There's very little information about him other than he spent a little more than 5 months at Depot, the RCMP training center in Regina, and was assigned to E Division, British Columbia on August 31st, 2015. We don't know where he was born or when or how he died. He seems to have been marked grave somewhere. You can usually do grave searches and such like that. Find a grave and things like that. This one site. The site says the information about Dorrington's death came from the Quarterly, the official magazine of the RCMP Veterans Association. The Examiner could find no other obituary or death notice for Nicholas Andrew Dorrington. Gosh, that reminds me of Yuri Bezmenov and his death. Absolutely ludicrous how that was made. Their validation of that. This is weird, said a serving Mountie. Quote, when you are sent to British Columbia, you stay in British Columbia. It is impossible to get out until your latter years, if ever. They need everyone and don't let go of anyone. If this is the same guy, how did he get to Nova Scotia so fast? And is he really dead? As I said, it's weird. Another source who's been extremely helpful in this case said that the person named Dorrington appeared to be working under RCMP internal affairs. You know, when we talked about that, right? So, very good, very good. Other things seem somewhat flummoxed by the situation. Others were somewhat flummoxed by the situation because it seemed unlikely that such a unit or units would exit in a smaller detachment such as Bible Hill. A watchdog unit would certainly be an anti-corruption squad, and it seems inconceivable that such a unit would be handing out speeding tickets on a dark winter night in rural Nova Scotia. Just logic. Till recently, Stephen Mayer of Maclean's magazine. Okay. So that was a great article. Again, I encourage you to go and subscribe to Tim Bousquet's publication, The Examiner. That's who Paul's writing for, and pick up this article. It's really great. I read this out the other day. You know, there's more to come, and there's more information I know they're sitting on, but hopefully they're probably just looking for validation. I don't know. I'm hoping. Magazine and I dropped the Bible Hill detachment late one afternoon. Dropped by the Bible Hill detachment, seeing if we could find Dorrington. I saw a Ford Taurus vehicle. He said to be driving the day the ticket was issued. The number was 5B11. As we walked across the parking lot in search of the door to the fortress, I meant to take a photo of it. As our backs were turned, yes, this place is abandoned. There's hardly anybody working there. You know, it's huge. I think, was it Carol once said there were 70 people working there? Absolutely not. Less than 20, maybe 20 roundabout. They want to say that they have a lot of people, but they don't. As we walked across the parking lot in search of a door to the fortress, I meant to take a photo of it. As our backs turned, it was driven off the lot and disappeared. We asked a Mountie where we could find Dorrington, and he told us to go to the front door and use the phone. We'd like to know where our employee is, please. Huh? At the front door, the sign said the office was closed and was not accepting calls. Hey, derp? Does it sound like your employee has been very misbehaved? Sounds like they need to be fired. Got some bad practices going on here. We're going to give Dorrington a note, RCMP grave citation in it. Was a dead Dorrington with the same name as his son or relative, or just another unfortunate coincidence? There was nowhere to deliver the letter, so we dropped the idea. Some would say the easiest thing to do was call the RCMP and ask for Dorrington. As obvious that might seem, it was vividly logical that if Dorrington did answer our call, he would likely not answer any questions about the ticket, what he was doing that night. Okay, so I don't know. Again, who was Steve talking to? Who was Steve talking to? That was a personal number. Another person gave me what they seemed to be his phone number. I didn't call it. I know from experience what happens next. In the past, I've called police officers at home in controversial situations, later been accused of stalking, harassing police officers. I was not going to let the RCMP have the upper hand there, which is very smart, So I did the diplomatic thing and contacted Derp. Here we go, Derp. Uh-oh. You know where that's going to go, at headquarters, and I asked her what I believe to be reasonable questions in the circumstance. Jennifer, can you confirm the status and the placements of Nicholas Andrew Dorrington on February 12th? Why is this cut off there? And why is that cut off? And something. I have two numbers. I can't scroll. That's weird. I have two numbers attached to the name, 002-57715, and the regimental number 61881 are the same number, same member. Derp, derp, derp. I will not be confirming the locations of any of your employees. Sorry. I'm an employee, but I'm just really misbehaved. I can't tell you anything. Sorry, boss. Halifax Examiner editor Tim Bousquet tells me Nicholas Andrew Dorrington and his spouse started a business in, okay, I'm not even going to try, okay, terrible, sorry, whatever that is, in New Brunswick. in 2000, but appeared to have moved to BC at some later point before moving to the Truro area in later 2018-19. Nicholas Andrew Dorrington is very much alive. So why won't Dorrington say publicly what the February 12th ticket was all about? How is Dorrington was issued a ticket on an obscure gravel road, one way in and one way out, in an off the beaten part of the province, just at shift change on a crappy snowy day? And if it really was a routine traffic ticket, why not tell us? Even just telling us what he remembers about Gabriel Wortman's demeanor and attitude may be useful, of course. But by saying nothing about the ticket, the Dorrington and the RCMP are simply feeding speculation and endangering distrust. Do you think that's purposeful? Do you think it's purposeful? You're goddamn right it is. The whole time. That's why they don't tell you anything. That's why they give you misleading information. That's why they bullshit through their teeth. Because they want you to run around and do this, and then you're crazy, and you're all these other things. Fuck off, man. Fuck off. You're a bad employee. And you're going to get fired. And you're going to take your bosses down. And you are. They've already thrown McNeil under the bus. Lots more are going to come. And the real truth of how deep and insidious this is going to start to roll out. And that's where we stand. The federal, provincial governments have promised a public inquiry into the Nova Scotia massacres, which is a sham, in my opinion. This is my opinion, but it's a sham. 3 handpicked people just moved from the inquiry, the review straight over to the inquiry. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about the fact that they have a mandate that is completely artificial based on information that was given to them by what? A person who said that somebody else told them something? Fuck right off, man. You didn't see anything. This whole thing is a sham. People need to call it. Women need to call it. There are countless questions about what RCMP did and didn't do during and after the incidents. Before. In interim 3 months, it and the various governments involved seem to have done everything they can do to obstruct the process of those trying to dig for the answer. There's charges for that in law. It's called obstruction of justice. You think anybody's guilty here of that one? Oh, I think a lot of people are. The task is an onerous one, indeed. The force is unwilling to answer the simplest of questions. What news, as East Coast would say? Just imagine how well covered the difficult ones are. Okay, so hope everybody's having a super day. I'll go back through a couple of your comments. Really super to see you all. Again, if you can join us over on the Doxcord, that's super. Don't worry about them monitoring. They monitor everything. You're on this channel, you are getting monitored. You're on anything. You're on the internet. You're driving around in your car. You think I'm bullshitting? Read Project Wide Awake. You want to understand what happened? The gun grab? Oh, no. Talk about Project Wide Awake 2.0. Okay? That's what's really going on underneath the surface here. And that one is really deep and insidious. I'm sorry. I don't want every single thing that I do in my life being banked so that then they can pull that card out later. You think that might have been happening to some people here? Awful lot of silence. Everybody's done dirt in their life. Some people are okay with it. And they're like, okay, if that comes out now, so what about it? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And other people are really terrified of that kind of stuff because they haven't come to terms with it. Right? Okay, so let's see what we've got here. Go back through some of your great stuff. Do I have anything exciting to share with you while I'm here? Okay. Yep, that's good. Oh, wow. Okay. That's an emotional thing. I'll read that later. Now, I did have some new photos I don't think I had shared with you before. Thank you to that person who wishes to remain anonymous. I did show these, actually, I think. There's nothing super exciting. There's some video. This one clearly proves the lie the RCMP told. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Love Clinton. Okay, to Corey. This is right outside the warehouse. Okay, so that shows you that the RCMP lying in their warrant, right? Because they say some nonsense about a beach, and that Clinton, funnily enough, in the interview, even though it sits smack dab in between two of their warrants, which they lied, right? Because the RCMP know where he was, right? Because they were there, right? Maybe they were. At least one of their agents, not agents, maybe one of their officers was. But smack dab in the middle, you had Clinton's interview. And Clinton said where he was. Okay? Their warrants say, oh, no. He died on a beach. He was going for a walk and all this bullshit. No. I haven't figured out why exactly. That's a big question. Why is it important for them to say? Because there's obviously a motive behind people's lies. So, there we go. I totally agree with you, Blue. I totally agree with you. But a lot of these things are just that. You know, they don't want to tell the truth because they're afraid of this power structure that they create the fear, right? Which isn't real, by and large. What are you going to do? You start jailing people, you start doing things, people are going to mount defenses, they're going to start digging through the RCMP trash. It's not going to end up pretty. The RCMP know that. Call them on their bluff. There's nothing there. Zero. Let's see. How would it go over if people started getting arrested? Because, I don't know, they ask for the truth? What would other citizens say? Well, that would be a problem. And if they're using other people's garbage on them, all I can say is, listen, we all have garbage. We all have done dirt in our life. Some more than others, right? But it's okay. If we're at a good space in our life and things like that, we can come out. Don't worry about it. What are you going to do? I'm a reformed person now, so it's all good. I feel bad for the police. I do too. I really do. I feel bad for the ones that are in there that are. Oh, see the comment above that. I feel badly for the conduct of some very bad apples, which are involved in some pretty bad activities that are counter to society, making great officers, right, afraid, and making them feel like, okay, what can I do? I'm going to be part of a crappy institution. I guess that's just part of it. How demeaning to one's personal life. I would like to work for an organization that I was proud of and that I stood truly strong, not strong out of fear. Oh, you can steamroll me? Sure. They all know that. They all know that. Again, look at Darren Campbell's wife, okay? Ex-wife. Absolutely steamrolled. You can go really deep into it and you can find tons of them who just get thrown under the bus, like McNeil. Whoosh. Doesn't matter. We'll run you over. just to save our own skin. Who do you think they're saving? You think the federal government? And, you guys know my opinion of politics. Doesn't mean shit. Doesn't mean shit. I don't care who's in there. It wouldn't have made a difference because I can bring out cases from conservative governments. It's all the same. It's all the same. It's incumbent upon us to change this and say, we've had enough. You aren't going to bully us around anymore. We're going to live in a society that we want because, you know what? We're your boss. Period. I don't care how much money you got coming in from, fake sources or whatever, even with your fake fucking money and your fake fucking banks. Go get fucking real, man. Get real. Quit traumatizing us all. We don't need it anymore. We don't need it. We need to live in a society that everybody has the right to say whatever they want. I want to live in that society. Maybe I live in a dream world. Maybe I do. I want to live in a society that is honest. One that allows for mistakes, but people to clean them up and encourages them and lifts them up to do that. I don't want to live in a society where people are victimized constantly and made to be felt like every single group. Let's divide. Very important. Because then you lose that voice. Right? Can't have that. Then it just becomes a bunch of whispers in the night. All kinds of different languages. So, we're getting somewhere. Please keep it up. I would say the families are really going to need you here at some point, and we can do our best, specifically with the women. And the guys can support the women. This is the way the world works, right? We support one another when we need help. Guys can do research. Bring that research to women, and women can speak out about women's stuff because they've divided that so much, right? That's part of it. That's all part of the game plan. It's always been these divisive issues and stop the balkanization. I always say that. Stop it. You can stop it by saying, I just simply don't play along. I simply will not play along. I see what you're doing. I know what you're doing. I can change that myself. Darren Campbell uses LiDAR. I like that is awesome. That is so funny. Nice to have all our good friends in here. Do an interview. Blue Apple do an interview. I don't know. I'm not such an interviewable person. I people have interviewed me in the past. They're like, what do you want to talk about? We'll have a little pre-conversation. I'm like, what the hell do you want to talk about? Well, I want to talk about this or that, the other thing. Kosher ticket. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't break these things down into 2-second snippets. You really can't. That look at what's going on here. Hours and hours and hours and hours of streams, which is supported by the things that go on in the background. All the hours and hours of phone calls and reading and stuff like that. You can't do like a 5-minute story and being like, yeah, you know what? I've got the answer here for you. Especially when you have this. The force is unwilling to answer the simplest of questions. Right? Swamp Drain. Absolutely. They need an enema. Dawn, you got a smart mouth, Dawn. You need the swear jar, okay? Why does that show up the right way? Isn't it supposed to show up backwards? I guess the camera reverses things, right? And I think I made a mistake, which I needed to clean up. I always make mistakes. You guys are forgiving. Thank you. Pick myself up, and you tell me I'm doing wrong. Breakfast blunt. How's it going? Thanks for all your tips, too. Always appreciate it. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. I can't really laugh at this anymore. Just makes a person sick. Okay, blue nose. Check out the New Brunswick cars. I'm thinking New Brunswick. New Brunswick keeps coming up. Bang, 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 bang. And funnily enough, I don't think that sorry, one moment. I'm not exactly sure what that person's referring to. It's all the mess over on the text diff. Okay, whatever. Finding lots of ties, not whatever, but I'm finding lots of ties between Banfields and some other shady characters, even in their own family. Keep digging. I'd say that everybody's in there is bad, because absolutely, it's just like everything. Some good, some bad. Gonna sue. This is just fucking sick, man. What they're gonna spin it. Shots fired outside the White House. Suspect down. That always seems to happen. Is it more fake news? I will not be fighting for the feminists. Sorry. Especially not after our group leader says go forth and speak women. I love women. Wouldn't be in this world without women. You all love women. I love my girlfriend. She's fucking fantastic. Has all kinds of skills that I can't have ever in this life. Pretend. Oh. Ooh. Okay. Ooh, this is going to be good. Maybe I should do a separate stream. Let's just make sure. Let's make sure. I got to make sure that this is okay. Now, we'll wait back. I'm going to go grab a coffee. Maybe there'll be something very interesting. If that person confirms it. Okay. Where's that sound effect? You know, the remember breaking news? I used to love that, the teletyper sound. Old radio news. Okay, so how do we get into this? You remember the photo? The photo that caused some disarray amongst. I was having difficulties, and what the hell was that? Ghosts. I quit. I took the videos, moved them into private, and I quit the Discord, and there was a bunch of stuff, and it was to do with the photo. Was part of it, the photo, right? And because Well, it's a good thing and a bad thing, I suppose. So it was to do with the photo, and was part of it. I'm not going to get into the other part of it. Now, the photo was a photo that I had for some time, and I had given my word that I wasn't going to release it, and I didn't. And it did pop up, and I was very upset that it did, because obviously that reflects very poorly upon me. And so the first couple of times that it popped up, I asked them, I obviously have that ability to delete it, but I just asked them, could you please take it down? And then here's why. Because I had given my word. And of course, they very respectfully did pull it down. The next day, it came up again, and I asked as to where it came from, and it came from a certain site. And I'm not going to get into any of that, but by that point, I was like, okay, it's out there. There's nothing I can do. What are you going to do? Now, that photo was a crop version of a photo that's much bigger. I'm going to show you that photo now, because that person has said it's okay to talk about it at this point in time. So let's find it here. I don't think I have it on my computer. Just on my phone. Maybe I can email it to myself. Can you do that? Can you do that? Let's do this. And now, okay, attach a file. Now, the validity of the photo, I'm going to leave it with you to look at it and think about it. Now, why the fuck is this like that? No! Sorry, I'm keeping you in suspense. It's all dramatic, right? It's supposed to be. Where is this? Is it in here? Maybe in here? Okay. Oh! There it is. Okay. Please don't dox this person, because I think one thing one person might ask is, where was this photo taken? I would say, please don't go there, because that's the wrong thing to do. Oops. Why do I have that in there twice? Let's try and be respectful of other people. Now. Okay, and I want a third thing in there. Where the hell is that? Oh, balls. I'll just do it this way. Okay. I can't keep you all waiting like this. Where's that? What email box is that getting sent to? Doodaloo, doodaloo, doodaloo. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Breaking news. There we go. Thank you. I got my own email. Okay. Let's just do like that. And that is which photo? We'll do it like this. Actually, this is, I think, actually, I can do it so that it's not necessarily going to give everything away in terms of who it might be. We want to do that, right? Want to try and be as respectful as we can. You're funny. Okay. Uh-oh. Why have you frozen on me here? Huh? Oh, come on. Okay, here we go. Okay, okay. Keeping you waiting, keeping you waiting, keeping you waiting. Boom. Whose comment is up here so we can just get that out of the way? Ms. Fox. I don't know even how you get rid of that. There we go. Okay, sorry. Not to dismiss your comment. You guys have seen this photo before, right? Right? Have you seen this part of it? Let's go right down here to the bottom. What was floating around was a little crop version of this photo. Hopefully it wasn't from mine. What's there on the left-hand side? That's a Ford. A white Ford truck. Who owned a white Ford truck? White Ford. It looks like a Chevy, but it's not. Because you can tell because of the back end of it. Right. Probably broke down. Mr. Wortman had a white Ford. Am I saying that it's his white Ford? I'm not. What I am saying is that this white Ford, the brake lights are on this truck, okay? There's somebody in this vehicle. They are watching what is going down because the person wearing the vest, if this photo is 100% genuine, the person wearing this vest is the killer, right? We have Mr. Weber's vehicle. We have the two vehicles not on fire. So whose truck is this? Can I enlarge it more? Yes. I'm not saying anything of the sort. I'm just simply putting it out here that this is the photo. Okay. And, you know, once again, this is very, very much due to the fact that good people provide me stuff. And exactly, where did it go? You never have seen it. You've never heard about it. And this person, whoever it is in this vehicle, is definitely seeing what's going on. And they're in there. So what the hell is this? If it's real, 100%. Okay? Because there's never a mention of anything white. We've always seen, you know, some black vehicles in the background and the cars are flaming and stuff like that, because this photo is actually of the entire thing going down. but you have that truck sitting there. Okay? And I couldn't give it out because I gave my word. And I try to abide by my word. No, it doesn't. I'm not going to talk about who it belongs to. I don't want anybody to go and start playing silly bonkers and detective games on who it belongs to. Just leave that. Okay, let's just take it that it's a photo, right? Because certain people obviously have concerns. And I can respect that. And we need to respect that because that helps furnish an environment where people feel as though they can trust others. And this is what we need to do. This is the environment that we've built where people have things and they don't want to share things. Hello, Ian. And Point. You guys hopped in on you missed the article, but you're not missing some boom. So this is why I got kind of concerned about the photo, and the person said to me, please make sure that you don't, get this out. And I'm like, yeah, okay, no problem. Don't worry about it. But of course, we looked at a lot. We looked into a lot, and there's things in here. So I will be sharing this over on the Discord. You guys can have a look at it all you want. Please, like I said, please, I ask you, do not try and go and play investigation games on who took this photo, okay? If they want to talk, they will talk. And that's really important. We have to give them that space. That's the trust, right? And we can give that. Okay? They have given us a photo, right? And the person that provided this to me is not the person that did take the photo, but they did get it. And they give me some very reliable information, and I trust them implicitly. So, I want you guys just to think about what you see. Give me your observations. Feel free to send me DMs. That's the best way to do that because, and that's why I've kind of said throughout streams, right? I have questions about the white truck. Where is the white truck? Because we don't have a record of it to the best of my knowledge. Not to say that I haven't missed 17 million things. But in the warrants, it doesn't indicate that anything, to the best of my knowledge, that anything happened with the white truck. We have the green Jeep burning up, and we have the 2 cars maybe burning up. We had one that was returned. We had the Mercedes, which was returned, but the mention of the white truck, well, where is it? Now, apparently the RCMP have this photo. They've had it all along. And obviously, I mean, what are we talking about here? We're talking about the same institution that says to you, whatever. I don't know. I think I've just lost whatever. They don't give you the simplest answers. They won't give you anything, right? So use your great minds. Tell me what you see that if you think this photo is 100% genuine. I can tell you certain things about it. This black thing off in the background is a composter. I had somebody go down and look for me, which was very nice of them. So that is there. I don't understand exactly what these things are on the road. And obviously I don't know who this person is. and I know you guys have been dissecting it. I will post it. I will post it. I try and abide by my word as much as possible, except for my forgetting mind. We tried to contact the Fishers, and they don't seem to want to talk. So they do get the message, but they don't want to talk, and that's fine. But there were some observations, and I think the biggest one of all, obviously, aside from the truck and who owns the truck, and what all did they see? Because one would think that in this day and age, it's quite possible that they were making videos and pictures too. Which again, I don't want to talk about who made this picture, or not made it, who took it. They may have some more information, but again, if they start getting bombarded by people, they're going to clam up. So let's just give them some space. But the person in the white vehicle may also have some very good information. They've witnessed it, and they're much closer. Much closer, because this picture is actually again a zoomed, cropped cut of the photo that you guys like, the little one that I had before, which I don't know how in the hell it got out, but that's for another day. But you have Joey Weber's supposed Explorer, or whatever vehicle this is. I don't know. It looks kind of like a Pathfinder to me, but I don't know. Who knows? And now my eyes are gone. But it's interesting. So I'm going to post it over in the Discord. You guys feel free to circulate it around. Please, if you do, it would be really great if we could get a little bit more attention on this channel. Not because I care about my own ego. Frankly, I'm very shy. I don't like things, and I don't like even people talking about me. But I want to focus on the story. And the more people, the more eyes that we have, right, watching this, and there's a lot of time that goes into this. It is a 24/7 job. It is my job. And it's some of your guys' jobs too. And we come up with a lot of stuff. And there is more to come, I assure you. Lots more. There are things that I do know. I try to live by a code. So I'm going to drop that over in the chat right now, over in the Discord. Okay? So you can feel free. And if you do go and talk in other places, please send people our way. Or people who are looking into this stuff. Why not ask them to come over here? This is the way this is going to get solved. Is getting all of us together. The Facebergs, the forum people, the YouTubers, the journalists. And I can tell you, at least in Mr. Palango's case, Mr. Palango and Miss Jones, last I talked to her, Miss Jones, last I spoke with her, is of the same mind. Mr. Palango, most certainly. He's like, I want to work in collaboration. So there are people that we talk to mutually. And obviously I speak to him a little bit, and some of the people, sources or whatever, speak to both of us equally. So without more ado, because why in the hell would you want to listen to me anymore when you can go and have at that photo, right? I think this is it. There you go. Okay. So it's sitting over in the Discord. Those of you that want to join us over there, welcome. Welcome to you all. Please don't divide. Please don't fight. We're all in this for the same end goal, right? Maybe different people have different motivations, and that's cool. And we don't have to agree on 100% on everything. That's totally awesome, because I learn from people I disagree with, and people maybe who disagree with me maybe learn a thing or two as well. So I'll leave the link for the docs cord. How do I do that? I hate this nonsense. How do you do this? There you go. Hidden. Use copy. What does that do? Okay. Your invite edit. I don't want it to expire. I like to have as many people, and because more brains, the better. No limit. And we'll do that. And we'll do this. Okay. And that should work. Paste. Hopefully we'll get somebody who's very good at photo stuff. That would be really great. Oh, am I getting screwed with? All of a sudden the stream died. Okay, there we go. That was interesting. That was easy. And please, I think this is a beneficial thing. So if you go and post it out or show your friends or whatever, say, hey, why don't you check out over at Little Grace L's, Steve, LTT, and Adrian and Cage. Those guys are working. They're trying. They really are. And we are trying, right? We've got to get it together. And that's the force they can't hold back. So God bless you all. I do hope that you have a super, super fantastic day. We're going to get there. We will. Promise. Promise. That's the way it works. That's the way it works. People, great minds, morals, honesty. They can play their silly bonkers all they want. We have lots more, and we're way smarter. Way smarter. You know that. You're way smarter. Win. God bless.